Oh, it's always fun waiting to hear somebody try. It's Devin Chenzi. Sure.
Well, I'm Victoria Pinder, and I'm
Did you say me, Victoria,
I
Aaron?
did. I did.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I think for the people in the audience, this was by and large the most important thing that happened to me in my life, and it was a major obstacle. And we learn from obstacles, right? We go through challenges and we just get better and learn from them. And back in 2008, 9, and 10, from the housing crash, and I'm going to make a real long story short, but again, this is for me, this was the most important thing, was I absolutely learned something in my business that worked 100%. And when you find that, we're all looking in real estate for that one thing that works, right? I don't care if it's mailers, phone calls, database, fellow, whatever you marketing, advertising you're doing, what works. And I found it, and I hit it right on the head. And what it was in 2010, I watched a documentary called The Secret. And I realized early on that the secret can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, but it was just the power of, your thought, right? Thoughts become things. And I found out what made me tick. Prior to that, I was very successful, had many houses, the cars, the country club, the whole 9 yards. It was great, but I still felt that emptiness inside. And when I realized after the challenges I had in 2008, 9, and 10, I realized that there was something more than just making money. And so we implemented everything in our business from watching The Secret and implementing God, the Holy Spirit, whatever works for you, right? Whether it's the universe, whatever works for you guys. And once we started implementing that in our business, and everything that we do is to help other people, whether it's cash advances, and that's how we approach everything in our business with every client, is asking certain questions to do what's best for them. Once we started implementing this in our business, it just took off. And being very genuine about it, being intentional about what we do, and really owning, not just saying it, but really owning it. And I think that when you find something that works like that, you kind of double down on it. And now we really strive hard to help more of the community, help my agents. I put my staff first, and it's been life-changing for us, not just for our business, but our personal growth as well.
Absolutely. It's very beautiful. What about you, Morgan? Same question.
I love listening to all of these responses and just the kind of relatability and insights already we're picking up. So not totally too far off from, what the other gentlemen have said so far. Reaching, ICON and building a consistent business that reaches ICON are kind of two different things. Everyone can have a good year, but having a good year over and over and being a 2, 3, 4, 5 time ICON is, part of systemizing your business and creating a team culture that people want to keep coming back to work and supporting, kind of that common cause of, exactly like Aaron said, helping people, supporting your community. And I think that was a challenge early on as we kind of tiptoed towards that ICON status when we first joined EXP. It's now been about 6.5 years we've been with EXP. And then creating the systems to keep that as a norm, that we want to reach ICON every year, and we want to be able to serve that many families and make sure that we are, helping them towards their goals. I think a big unlock for myself as well as my team, I absolutely am aware that I'm in a sales position, but I loathe being salesy. I can't stand it. And so when I kind of made that brain shift, it unlocked that I don't have to sell. The sale comes by helping people, by being connected in our community and, providing the support and the guidance to help others reach their goals. And then the sales kind of happen. And here we are at ICON status. So I think that was a big kind of challenge turned blessing, I guess you could say.
Well, I'm just going to quickly add, because I think I'm the agent with the least experience on the stage. So I'm just going to, because it's been like 5 years. But I just want to say, my husband and I we repositioned in here. We were not agents before, but I mean, I still came at this, and let me just go backwards. Like, I remember being a kid in the 90s, and somebody sold my mom a house with a bad roof, and she had no money to fix this roof. So we lived in a house with like a horrible roof, and it was never a good situation. So like, my mom lost her house that she shouldn't have had to begin with. And like, it just taught me as a teenager, that you have to kind of make sure that what you're buying is a good thing. And then in 2008, I remember being in college, and I remember like, I'm in law school at this point because I went to law school, and they were like, hey, you can buy a condo. I'm like, but I don't have a job. Why am I going to buy a house when I don't have a job? I'm still in school. So like, it didn't make sense to me. And then of course the world crashing just kind of brought me back to like finding my way towards like being a good person and being with God or whatever. And so like in 2020, when my husband and I decided we wanted to finally start this business we talked about for 10 years together, it was just like bringing it in here. But we already had like, we're here to help people as much as possible. And I feel like that's what everybody on the stage is saying, is we're all trying to like help people. Which then brings us to the next question is, what are your thoughts on like sponsorship and mentorship? Because to me, when I joined EXP, one of the reasons I chose my sponsor was I was going to get a lot of like training that I knew I needed because I had never been an agent. So my question is like, for you guys, how do you feel about coaching? I think somebody said that they had a coach. So, and then how would you suggest new agents find this guidance? And I think we'll start with you, Morgan, sorry.
Absolutely. I am a huge advocate for coaching and finding the right fit to build your business. As I mentioned, we are a team. I actually have never been a solo agent. If you kind of look at the picture that, my mom transitioned to real estate a few years before I finished college and went into the workforce, and then said, wow, this whole corporate thing's kind of boring. And she said, well, why don't you try real estate? Wait a second. And it's been great. So I've never been a solo agent. So I couldn't imagine juggling everything that we do on a daily basis and being able to have the opportunity for growth without the team support. And at first it was myself and Julie, my mom, just the two of us. And of course, then we brought on, assistants and other agents, and just, many hands makes light work, and you can serve the community better that way. And then we've also gone into a couple different over the years coaching programs to, kind of going back to my comment in the last question about you have to create systems. Otherwise, you are going to be floundering for your entire career and working a lot harder than necessary. And working as a team makes it, helpful. There's different perspectives coming into your projects and your transactions, and then working with coaches along the way. And not every coach has to be thousands of dollars a month. There's some really great coaching programs out there. If you do the work, that are fairly reasonable and just help the accountability and create systems within your business. So while you're doing the client-facing things, your business is still working for you behind the scenes as well. And that's, I think, one of the most amazing parts of having the team structure or betting on yourself kind of and jumping into a coaching program.
Absolutely. What about you, Aaron?
I think that coaching is very important to everybody, whether no matter at what level, whether you're icon or not icon. It keeps you sharp and holds you accountable for what you need to do. Coaching works when you're extremely honest with your coach. You got to be honest. I use AI. Probably all you top guys use AI for everything. My AI is a reflection of me, and I use AI. I call her Quinn for everything that I do. And I have this saying with AI that, AI doesn't make dumb people smart. It makes smart people smarter. And it's really a reflection of who you are. And I use it to help me coach, to help me make decisions in life. I have a coach. His name is Marshall Silver, and he's not necessarily a real estate coach. He's more of a life coach and personal coach. It's extremely important to get guidance and be pushed constantly and know your limitations. if you ever talk to somebody that's a billionaire, someone that's extremely successful, and on their deathbed, if you ask them what they would change, and they would, every single one of them would tell you, I would have shot for the stars. I would have shot higher. I would have asked for more. I would have made my goals larger. And we don't do that. So coaching, if you don't have a coach, get one. And it's important to find the right one, like with any relationship, right? Interview coaches. Don't just take the first one that comes around. And your sponsor doesn't have to be your coach either. It could be someone in the office. It could be a friend. It could be a professional. But find someone mainly that's going to motivate you, that's going to help you, not just work-wise, but spiritually. And it's somebody that, it's going to make you a better person. That's who I would look for.
Scott, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of echo, what's already been said here. I think for me, it was just, at the beginning, taking a deep dive into who I am and finding where I fit in this crazy business. I got a coach, Jackie McKelvin, and learned the power of what a coach can do for you. I mean, she spent so much time with me and we did such a deep dive. She was my coach for about 4 years and just an absolute game changer. I guess in 2018, I also wrote a check for $20,000 to a different life and business coach. And kind of going off of what Aaron was talking about, and that was just, man, it was so powerful. We focused on, just the little nuances and roadblocks that are holding me back. She maybe opened my eyes to a new world and just kind of the world of business and maybe a different way to look at how business actually operates. Really kind of broke down some barriers and definitely got rid of the stage fright for me, and not 100%, but much better. Just opened up, a whole new world for me, the way that I look at myself in business. Just like what's been said there. I mean, I'm just a true proponent of coaching. It's like hitting the easy button. We just all need to stop reinventing the wheel. Just get a coach, learn from the mistakes that have already been made by others, develop systems, with your coach, which, Morgan talked about really, really well in there, just that fit your personality, fit your drive. Then you'll start doing what you're called to do in this industry. And all of a sudden you'll find yourself on the stage. Asked me in 2015 when I didn't have a single deal if I thought I was going to be on the stage today. It was a grind, and it doesn't have to be. It's hard work, yes, and we work hard for our salary, and it's a grind to get there, even when you find your calling. But my wife has said it perfectly over the years: stay in your lane, analyze your deals, and find what you love. Find what you didn't like in the deal and just do what was great. Do what fits. Do what you love. That's your wheelhouse right there. Develop a system. Develop a plan of more of that and jump in your lane and drive, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just going to a little bit echo and then just kind of bring something back and then go to the next question. But I want to add, I would say having a life coach is really, really kind of an important thing to really think about too, because I think the biggest obstacle any of us face isn't like finding the next system. It's really understanding who we are on the inside and really kind of fixing whatever mistakes that we're on the wrong track, and then kind of getting ourselves centered and staying focused on who we are. And then if you can learn the best parts of you and the worst parts of you and what you can fix about yourself and really grow from your internal, you will be a better service to people. You'll be an agent. You will just be better altogether because you're working on yourself. So I would say the biggest coach I've ever had is really just understanding me, which is a nice thing to talk about. Now, next thing to talk, because we're always there. So the next thing I want to talk about is tools. Specifically because we'll start this with Aaron, because he talked about AI, and I'm really curious which AI he loves, which one, he's named it. And so which ones is he using, and a little bit more about how he uses it.
Sure. So I put my marketing director's email address in the chat for everybody, because I really want to applaud the 40-something people that are in here. You should get something today, and you're going to, from every single one of us. But I want to give you something tangible if you email her. I'm going to have her email you scripts. I'm going to have her email you presentations, anything that you need that I use for my business. I want to email and help you guys get to that 10, 20, 30, 40 deals a month, if that's where you want to get to. I want to help you guys get there. So we use AI. We started 2 years ago. We advertise heavily here in Las Vegas. We're on 24 radio stations, TV stations, everywhere in social media, podcasts, radio show, billboards. I mean, I'm kind of like that attorney in Las Vegas, but I'm a real estate agent, and we're everywhere. And AI helps us get everywhere we need to be. It helps us write remarks in our listings. It helps us write commercials. It helps us with our training. Matter of fact, even on Wednesday meetings, we pull a scripture every single morning, and then we read about it, and then we ask our AI to break it down for us as like if we were fifth graders, explain it to us. And we do that every single morning for a meeting. So AI is extremely involved in everything we do. But the tools that we have been developed over the course of 31 years. Trial and error. So everything that we do in our business on our team has been from trial and error. So I would really suggest for your people in the audience to, if you're not icons and you want to be there, or if you're a new agent, join a team. And I'm going to give you an example on how important this is to me, or how I just believe in this. If I was going to move to Hawaii, my daughter went to college in Hawaii, and we got a place there, and she lived there for 4 years, and we absolutely love Hawaii, every island. If I was going to become a real estate agent in Oahu, even though I'm 31 years, 32 years in the business, I would go to a title company. I would find the top 3 teams in that city. I would interview with all top 3 teams. I wouldn't care about commission splits. I wouldn't care about pay. And I would join that team, even now at this point in my career, because I don't know the landscape, the culture, how they work there. And I would sit there for a year, listen to my team leader, and really understand how real estate works in Hawaii. So when I see you agents out there just getting started, or 1 year or 5 years or 10 years in the business, I have this saying that if you haven't done 100 deals, you can't even navigate through a transaction by yourself, or even close to it. And so you need to get to that level and join a team and get that help. So I started rambling. Sorry, I get passionate when I start talking, so I'm going to stop.
And I know Morgan's also big on teams, so I'm just going to bring the counterpoint real quick on this myself, because I moved. I am not from North Carolina originally, in case you can't tell from my voice. I'm originally from Boston. I've lived in Florida. I lived in Colorado. I have lived in Pittsburgh, and now I've moved here in 2020. And then within a year, my husband didn't want to do his job anymore at the hospital, and we were like, okay, we need to start our business that we've been talking about for years, and we decided to do real estate together, which is great. But there was zero way I would have joined a team, because I know how to run a business. I was running businesses beforehand. I was a lawyer, so I don't need anybody to teach me about contracts, but I do, and I've been doing social media for years, so I knew how to do social media. So our first takeaway is know who you are and know your strengths. And if I did join a team, I would have to be someone who is on the same level as me. And we did go around and interview all the people around, but there was no one who understood, like, I don't need to be used. I've worked in corporate before, and I understand a little bit I see their marketing. I'm not going to get played with this one as well. So I look at it and say, okay, I understand what to do. And I had my first deal within 90 days. So it wasn't, but you have to know who you are, and you have to know your strengths. And I would say I have no problems talking to anybody. And I'm from an area, there's 100,000 people in my town. It's not a huge area that I live in now. And we do well because we believe that we are helping people, and it's real estate is a real estate, and contracts are contracts. And every question I had, I went to my brokers in charge here at EXP. And that is something I just want to point out. You don't have to join a team if you don't want to, as long as you have the inner strength and inner guidance to know what you're doing and to reach out and ask questions, because everybody in the broker group knew me very well, because I would be in there all the time asking questions. So Morgan, I'm sure you have a different counterpoint. So let's talk. Can you go next?
Yes. What is the exact question I'm supposed to be answering, just so I don't tangent too far?
It's supposed to be about tools and AI, and then we went into the whole other concept.
Okay. So am I answering about tools and AI?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, so tools and AI, I've used the S word a few times, and it is one of my favorite aspects of this business is systemizing everything. And Kind of funny timing. Obviously, AI was in the picture prior to, but our full-time in-office assistant started just about 2 years ago with us. And that was like right at the cusp of AI, taking over our daily lives, right? Being integrated to everything that we do. And it just kind of exponentially ramped up from about that 2 year ago mark. So it's kind of a funny, point in relation to that as well. And so we kind of learned it together, which was fun. We have a kind of a saying on our team of, when something new comes along, I always just say, that's all right, we're learning together today, because this business is going to do that to you transactionally as well as behind the scenes with these systems. And so we, of course, I consider ChatGPT another team member that is, far underpaid for everything that they do for us. And we also have a couple other AI tools, one through our coaching program. We have been in the Workman Success Systems. They have a relationship with EXP as well. Not quite sure exactly what that is, but that's how we found them, was through an EXP event, and really felt connected to them. They have a whole AI tool within their coaching program, specifically utilizing their coaching tools and scripts and systems and all of that, and being able to talk to an AI bot and chat through what our hurdle is and find a really direct, quick solution to that. So that's pretty incredible. And then we use some of the AI tools like in Canva and those kinds of things as well. And it has, Aaron, I think you said it, that AI makes smart people smarter. I mean, just the efficiency at which we can work now, and at which we have to work. The American way is just increasingly, the workload is just more and more demanding, and having this tool of AI allows you to keep up with the competitors and those top producers while still providing a really good service and a really good product. I mean, yesterday I used AI to go through an entire disclosure package for me. It was my, rough down and dirty. It gave me the bullet points. It broke it down. And then I went back and looked at all of it, everything, of course, myself. But it just kind of helped me digest this mass amount of information quicker to say, are there red flags that I know are not going to work for my clients? It's a very simple way to use it, as well as some of the more advanced ways that you'll get into quickly once you start using AI.
What about you, Scott?
Well, we kind of went all in on a platform called High IQ, speed to lead to get the deals, right? Right when a lead would come in, this AI assistant would call them to qualify them and find out exactly what they were looking for. We had it set to also start calling all those dormant leads in the CRM. What we learned, though, is the AI voice was really good, and the platform and communication was really great. I mean, it was amazing, but it didn't replace that human touch and that interaction. I guess it just goes to show that, what tech brings and how much it, will change our industry. I mean, we'll always have a job as real estate agents, because real estate's an emotion, it's an experience, it's a personal thing that happens when you open the door to your dream home. It's just an emotion that makes you purchase that. Just something I don't think AI will ever be able to deliver. We're really active on social media to stay top of mind. We use Lovable for websites. We use Fixer, EXP's thing for email. My assistant kicks butt for my emails as well. We use Sora for video. Google Docs, with the calendars and just being able to information share with our clients is huge. And then, I just live on ChatGPT. I mean, it is absolutely amazing and amazing for putting together like CMAs. I'll grab, the subject property details, and I'll grab the comps and I'll upload them to Chat. I'll give Chat as much information on the subject that I can, tell it what comp it's most like, and then I'll set it to, the deep research. part of it. And I'll tell you what it spits out is like I spent 5 hours on this. I mean, literally, I asked for charts, graphs, for the immediate area, days on market, just all the normal data. And then I'll ask it for an executive summary and a suggested listing price. And if it doesn't come back at 5% in the area of where I would have valued this home, you still have to go through the whole entire thing. I maybe spend about 20, 30 minutes on it to make sure that the document's good. But I'll tell you, I look like a rock star when I go into that listing appointment. Just super effective. And I'm sure I'm missing some more of the stuff. But I'll tell you, if you're not embracing AI right now, you're being left behind in the game.
100%. I mean, I'm just gonna throw in Gemini or ChatGPT. I love Gemini so much in my gems these days because I get a little bit more and get the video and I get the images all at one blink. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. But let's move on to the next one. Let's do some mindset, right? What keeps your mind really strong, and how do you deal with a negative occurrence? Why? By keeping your mind strong. Let's start with you, Scott.
Okay. I track my sleep. I've got a stand-up desk. I've got a treadmill in front of my desk. I try to work out intentionally 3 to 4 times a week. I try to unplug, spend time with my wife every single night, make intentional time for my family, for my kids, and, keep my prayer life as strong as I can as well. Make a point to be at church and just keep a routine and a schedule and spend some time with me also, self-reflecting meditation. I love Audible books for that self-reflection and that education. I've always been a pretty good problem solver, creative mind. I love a good challenge, but real estate can give us some of those, right? So I guess the challenges of real estate, they can suck you in and spit you out if you let it. So problem solving in general, everybody just needs to remember to breathe. I mean, people can be messy and real estate can be messy, and some transactions, clients, other agents, as I'm going through the transaction, and I'm talking with people, sometimes I find myself closing my eyes, just taking a big cleansing breath while they're talking about stuff, never raise my voice. The bottom line is really, when you look back at it, nobody's going to die in 99% of the drama and the things that are happening. So it's just, be the first one to relax. Stuff's going to happen. Expect to fix it. Just be the positive one, and just never lose your smile. Stay calm. Don't stress. I mean, it always seems to work out, right?
Aaron, do you want to come in here and tell us how you keep your mind strong and deal with the negatives?
Yeah, definitely double down on what Scott said. I think what I try to do and what's hard sometimes is just keeping good thoughts in my head and in my mind, praying every morning, every night, and all throughout the day, and even thinking good things and praying for people that I necessarily don't want to be with or don't like, and just eliminating those things. I think keeping a good mindset with my work, the people around me. I choose to have good people around me and remember that I have that choice. And then just knowing what makes me happy and what doesn't make me happy, and making sure that I do those things, which is praying in the morning and working out and stretching during the day and playing my golf once a week, and, being with my family and my grandkids and my kids, and just identifying those things to keep my mind strong, I think is really important.
What about you, Mr. Morgan?
I'm just going to kind of echo exactly what Aaron and Scott said. Really keeping your mind sharp and keeping the positive energy flowing. I am naturally a very glass half full, bubbly, positive person, which is helpful in this industry, but I know not everyone is. And really what it comes down to is starting with yourself. Just like Scott and Aaron kind of mentioned, we constantly pour into others when we are in full work mode. We are helping people through very emotional processes. We're investing in our team. We're building a business. We're creating opportunities for others. It's constantly a state of giving. And so I find it really important to set myself up early in the day with, I guess you could say, me time, self-care time. And for me, that's, investing in myself spiritually, as well as giving myself the time to be physically active. I love my morning gym workouts. Am I a, triathlete? Absolutely no, but giving myself the space to do what feels good to me and start the day that way, with my mind right, my body right. It fills my cup, so I'm able to pour into others.
Absolutely. I just want to say I'm part of the 5 a.m. club. I don't know if you've read the book, but that's a great book. And yeah, let's talk about the next one. Let's talk about goals, and what is your why, and how do you kind of set and track your goals and get rid of the ones that you don't want, that you're on the track to do? Let's add that part. Morgan, you want to start with me? Start again?
Absolutely. Goals and filtering goals. So we have two very, very simple. We try to keep things like stupid simple on our team because simple systems work. And the two systems we kind of have implemented, and one of them was accidental. It kind of was mentioned as a joke about 9 years ago, and it's just stuck. Was we do an annual, what we call, it's been dubbed the name, the chopping block. We do an annual review of our business. Nowadays, with things, having grown so much and moving so much faster, we do this multiple times a year. But everything and everyone goes on the chopping block. And we take a time, it doesn't take that long, but it's intentional. And we take time to discuss, is this system working? Is this marketing dollar being spent well? Are these affiliates, affiliates or vendors that we are, putting our clients in front of or referring our clients to, are they representing our clients in the best interest and also making us look good? Everyone and everything goes on that chopping block, and it's nothing personal. Everyone's business goes through phases, or, one thing may work really well marketing wise, 2 years ago, but the market shifts and it may not be bringing in the results we need now. It is so important for us to be able to take that intentional time, shift and mold and create the, culture within our business and around our business that aligns with the trajectory that we are working towards. And then kind of in between the big chopping block things, we play, again, very simple, what we call red light, green light. We may really kind of go full force towards one effort or one project, and then kind of put it on hold as we see that kind of fulfilled its job. Or we may kind of really double down on a certain avatar of a client and say, we really want to work with this kind of client. Let's see how we can get in front of more of this one type of client, and put a system in place and do that. And, maybe we put a red light on it after we've filled our pipeline, full, or it didn't work, and that's okay. It's constantly kind of reevaluating where you are and where you want to go, setting those systems, but being logical to not keep throwing money or time towards things that aren't serving the greater purpose. So I would say that's kind of how we set the goals as a team. We set all goals really as a team, which is fun. The accountability is there. And then we use these very simple systems to evaluate how they're working and how far to let them go before we pivot.
Thank you. What about you, Erin? What gets you out of bed, and how do you track what's working and what's not working?
So we kind of do the same. We get everybody involved in the team. I think it's good to get everybody on the same page. And then we constantly review and revise the goals and things that we put in front of us. And we try to break it down, not just by the big goal. Most of us have the transactional volume that we want to do, the dollar volume that we want to do, and we all know what that is. But then we'll break it down and go, okay, what really works for sure, and what will help us get there. And one of our goals is like reviews on Google. Our goal is to get to 1,000, and that's what we're all looking for. Our immediate goal is to get to 600. We're getting close, but we know that the more Google reviews we get, we know in that world, it's going to get us more business. We know that if you make your 5 phone calls, and this is pretty elementary real estate, right? Or any type of business. If we make the 5 phone calls and touch 5 people a day and put those comments in our CRM system, we know that if we stick to those little goals, those little things, it's going to get you where we want to be, which is the higher volume, the high transactional part. And same with, helping people. That's what gets us out of bed, is coming up with systems in place that helps people, whether it's divorce, diapers, relocating, whatever they're doing in their family, is really helping them with their situation. The house is just the byproduct of what they do, but it's just helping them with everything else. Kind of gets us out of bed at night.
And Scott, do you want to tell me a little bit about what gets you out of bed and how do you kind of track your goals and what doesn't work?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first off, I'm blessed with just an amazing assistant. I've had her for over about 4 years, and she just knows me inside and out. I mean, the good, the bad, the ugly, the crazy. Sorry, Annie. And she's the one really who does all the tracking. And I mean, it's just, I'm just echoing here, but it's imperative to set your goals, know your numbers. Not only do you need to sell yourself to your clients by knowing them, you need to know them at the end of the day. So you've got the confidence that you're crushing it. And if you're not crushing it, you've got the data of what's not working and what not to do or what you need to change. Maybe, for example, Annie and I, we put together this amazing luxury system. And when we implemented it, we landed $2 million listings in 6 weeks. The problem was it was at the beginning of 2025 and the market was absolutely brutal right then. These things were on the market for 9 months each. We closed them, but it took my whole entire summer because, luxury clients, they're just a lot more needy. So we decided, that this wasn't the market for luxury and we bailed. I guess when the market's better, we'll have, that amazing system and we'll try it again. We've got a huge whiteboard with the year goals, and just every closing, Annie updates it to, just make sure we're on track. And we've also got a whiteboard that contains the current and upcoming listings, the buyers. Just at a glance, you can see where you're at, what you need to focus on. We use Bold Trail for the CRM tasks, campaigns. I'm still a little bit old school. I've got a stack of scratch paper on my desk though, and we run through clients and, I put together my now to-do lists. She keeps me accountable. Because the next time we go through clients and the things that were written on the now to-do list, they better be done. So she just keeps me accountable with that. So I guess that's kind of what keeps the wheels in motion and keeps me accountable and just kind of what we're doing.
Okay, I'll stick with you for a second there. If you were to talk to a new agent or someone who's maybe had 4 or 5 deals a year, they're doing it part-time, they want to be full-time, but they're not quite there yet. They haven't quite found their footing. What would be the very first strategy you would tell them to help them grow their business?
Yeah, I both Aaron and Morgan and you, everybody's been talking about it at great lengths as far as just systems and a team. And if I could do it all over again, the first thing I would do is join a team, get that support structure. Only 50% of a commission when you're on a team is better than no commission, right? And as you're, building yourself up, it's a great way to do it. You don't need to do this on your own. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, like I was saying earlier, and get yourself a coach. Like I mentioned, success here at EXP is absolutely amazing. There's other places that you can go. Maybe talk to your team lead or a mentor, managing broker, and just go out shopping for that right coach for education, accountability, spirituality, life, whatever you need, as has been mentioned here. I would say one thing to do right away is just look at what you love and just find out how to do more of that. If you're only doing, 1 or 2 transactions or not as many as you would like, look at your past transaction. What did you love about them? What did you not love? Were they buyers, sellers? Were they investors or, owner occupants? Just who's your crowd? Who's your people? So find your lane, as I was mentioning earlier. Stay there, get your 10,000 hours, and just stop chasing the shining objects. In the wisdom of my beautiful wife, just find what you love and stay in your lane.
What about you, Aaron? What's the one thing you would tell someone who is a little struggling? Maybe they have 4 to 5 deals a year and they just want more. What would be the one tool you would kind of recommend that they might start, or system that they might start using to just up their level, up their game?
Well, first of all, Scott, if your wife is sitting next to you on that plane, you are earning some major brownie points, my friend.
Well, she is sitting next to me on the plane right now, and yes, it was.
Happy Valentine's to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, when I was talking about the team earlier, I think it's vital, but I never joined a team myself. I struggled, for the first couple of years, and I don't think like joining a team is for everybody, but it would have shaved probably a couple, 2, 3, 4 years off my learning curve, because I always knew, I was a business person. I'm a leader. I'm the boss. But I should have joined a team and really learned through the business better. And I think that's important. And then something else I learned too, as I was in real estate, was I always thought that if nobody thought my way, they weren't doing it right. Like if you don't want to do 5 deals or 10 deals or 20 deals a month, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you getting there? And everybody has a different way of measuring success. But the ones that want to do more, I think the root of everybody that's on this panel and everybody in our business is we know that we have to acquire people to be successful in real estate. You need people. And I learned very early on, it took me a while, but I learned very early on to build a good database of people that loved me, would refer me, that supported me. And I wasn't afraid to ask them the question if they would or not. I would ask everybody I knew if they were going to buy a house or sell a house or knew somebody, who would they use? And if it wasn't me, I'd want to know why. And I would ask questions. And a no was just as good as a yes. And it still is. I don't mind people saying no to me. It's just an answer. I need to know whether it's no or yes, so I can move on and get to what I'm trying to accomplish. So, and I've seen it with agents that have been in this business 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They still don't want to ask that question. And they're still assuming that people that love them and family members would use them. And I would say, start with your spouse, start with the people closest to you, and then your friends, and make sure that everybody's on board with your business. If you're doing that and you're still doing, 4 or 5 deals a year, well then, join the team and join a successful team and then go that route. But I think you could just probably work in your own backyard and take that 4 or 5 deals to 10 or 15, if that's what you really want to do in your heart. It's a good way to start.
Yeah. What about you, Morgan? What is one system or tool you would tell a struggling agent who's maybe doing 4 to 5 but wants more, how they can improve their business?
Absolutely. Working as a team leader and having a, evolving business with team agents. A lot of our team agents were solo agents that were exactly that, where they closed 1 or 2 or 5 or 6 deals over a couple of years. And we're like, why is this not consistent? What am I missing here? And a team could be really helpful to provide the systems and such. But if you really feel confident about being a solo agent, there's a couple of things that I've just in my experience have seen to be true about a lot of agents that are struggling to find that consistency. One of which is stop trying to reinvent the wheel. You see all these fancy real estate agents on HGTV and on Instagram and all these things. The agents that are really doing the business are doing the very boring things to get the really fun video opportunities and social media moments and all of that. So stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Make the phone calls. Talk to your database, talk to your friends and family and ask who they know that might want information about buying or selling a home. book the open houses, and then follow up with everybody that you meet. It's really kind of that simple. And I feel like I see people trying these, outlandish systems, or, this is going to be the thing that takes me to the top. And a lot of times it's a lot more complicated than really what's necessary in this business. So I would say that's pretty mindful. And then there is, Erin, I completely agree that digging into your family and friends can be great, but that depends on your family and friends. I have found that oftentimes your clients are more likely to become your friends faster than your friends are going to become your clients. So banking on your best friend and your mom and your cousin for all your business, you need to expand your sphere beyond that and go talk to strangers. That's part of the business. Again, it's very simple, but go talk to those strangers. Last night we hosted a Galentine's client event, and we had 50 women for a fun happy hour, snacks, drinks. We had a floral design kind of bar. Everyone went home with like a vase of flowers that they got to create all of the things. No one in that room was my friend prior to working with them as their realtor. And now I know all of their life stories. I know all of the things. There's great connection. And then multiple of them said, hey, I would love to bring a friend because they're thinking about buying a house or they need to move up and I really want to introduce them to you. Can I bring them to the event? Absolutely, yes. So I'm expanding my friend group, but also starting with a professional foot forward. And I think that's something that kind of gets missed often.
I'm just going to add, someone told me at the beginning of my career that you want to have 10, if you have 10 good conversations a day with people you don't know, but you have 10, keeping it simple, just having those 10 good conversations a day means that you're never going to go broke. And I feel like that was probably one of the best advices I got really when I first started, was to just consistently make sure I always have at least 10 good conversations with people a day. And that kind of just keeps it going because that's the most simple thing we can do. So I just want to kind of add that. So basically, now let's go back. What are you most excited for in 2026 for your business, and maybe something that you've not quite tried yet, but you're trying now? Want to start with you, Morgan?
Oh gosh, okay. I'm kind of thinking on this. Most excited for 2026. Well, we came out of our coaching program. We did a 2-year kind of intensive coaching program. It was a lot. And so we came out of that the end of 2025, and the growth that we had in just those 2 years was incredible. And seeing how our business is set up now into 2026, I can only imagine where we're going to be at the end of this year. And then I mentioned the Galentine's event that we did. We lean really deep into these events and being in front of and bringing together our clients and community. And so we're leaning even further into that because we've just seen such incredible results from exactly that, getting face-to-faces, connecting, having that kind of ongoing relationship.
What about you, Erin? What is 2026? What are you most excited about in this year, and maybe something you've not done in your business that you're excited to give a shot to?
Well, we're pretty optimistic about 2026. We're always optimistic about every year, but we fell short of our goal last year. I think a lot of real estate individuals and teams did. And so we're just, trying to identify, or we identified what really works within our group and doubling down on that and just being more involved. As you're in the business for a long time, you tend to start, and you have good people. I have great people on my team. I start vacationing more and doing other things that aren't as important as really being involved in my team, in the group, and just being not afraid to trying different things and seeing if they work or not. And I think 2026, I think everybody can agree that the rates, may drop just a little bit in 2026. I think that people are getting used to that 6%, 6.5%. And we're going to have a banner year. So, yeah.
What about you, Scott? What are you most excited for in 2026? For something you might be trying that you've not tried yet?
Yeah, well, I mentioned it just a little bit ago that Denver is number one in wage growth right now, and with Aaron talking about rates just a second ago, I mean, we're a full percent, less than we were this time last year. So, putting things together, and we saw the buyers, start to come out, not this last weekend, but the weekend before. So I'm really encouraged, and I hope that 2025 is just a little bit easier and just a little bit stronger of a real estate market. We helped 23 families in senior real estate, moving the parents over into assisted living and then getting the house ready for market and sold using bridge loans and all kinds of craziness and renovations and so on and so forth. And it was just really powerful. I mean, when you get down in those transactions, I mean, those are the ones you sit in the back, you sit down and lean back in your seat and say, that was worth my time. So that's really kind of turning into my wheelhouse. And we are doubling down on that, as, Aaron was talking about doubling down on stuff there. So really planning to do a lot more of that. For kind of new stuff this year, I partnered with an investor that's really going to open some doors on some very interesting things, to where I think we can really be a benefit to the community. And then I purchased at the end of the year 19 acres. And we are putting up 73 single-family homes and 68 townhomes. So going through the development process of that, we should be, fully platted by August, and horizontal infrastructure in by March of 27, and start going vertical. So really, really excited about that as well. So yeah, that's kind of the future.
Well, I want to just go back to, I'm a little techie by nature. It's just I'm not a coder, but now I am, because cloud is amazing with helping me code. So one of the things I have been doing with my Lovable and my cloud, and it's not launched yet, but it is something I'm very excited about for 2026, is I am redesigning my website, because I have understood that the SEO of our .exp.com is a subservient. So it's not. If you're trying to be number one in your AI world, it's by using the traditional EXP website, which is amazing, isn't going to get you found in your local market. So I'm trying to be hyper local, and I am reinventing our website. And so that is just something I have been working on that I'm pretty excited about. It's not launched yet, but you can still, I'm definitely using Bold Trail as my back end, but suddenly I have become a coder, which I was never wanted to be a coder at all. But I mean, cloud makes it kind of simple. And then cloud with my N8N, which is, again, cloud can walk me through how to do all these things, and my Lovable account. So I am now a tech person in a way I never was before, but it's pretty exciting. So I want to say, is anybody else here really kind of doubling down on their tech? So in tech world, because again, I do love, that's kind of my little nerdy way of being like techie here. So anybody, Scott, Morgan, anybody want to jump in on what kind of view you're doing for tech?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that just a little bit ago, as far as, Lovable, and we tried that high IQ, and I think that we are just an open book when it comes to this. The whole website thing, you bring that up. Well, we hit a max in a situation that we're in here, and to create websites for these individual listings, I mean, Lovable just makes that so simple. So we just signed up for that, and I think that whatever the industry throws at us, there are new answers out there if you're willing to go out and shop and look and do the research and be creative. The more creative you are, just the more you're going to stand out, and the more you're going to differentiate yourself from the next agent, so that they hire you instead.
Absolutely. So Morgan or Aaron, do you guys have any like tech things that you want to talk about real quick?
Sure. I'm not super techie, but I love my partners who are. I'm more than happy to stay in my lane. We kind of two sides of tech. I don't know if social media really falls into tech, but it kind of falls into what we're doing to leverage it. So we are pretty heavy on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then YouTube. And so YouTube has been a really strong source of contacts for us. We have a channel called Hello Sonoma County. We have all of our listing videos up there, of course, and then a ton of videos around all the different cities and neighborhoods and price points and comparisons and just all those little nuggets that people are searching for and looking for in video form with the call to action. So we're kind of taking what we've built there, and then kind of similar to you, Victoria, it sounded like you were kind of mentioning that we're improving our overall SEO ratings on the entire kind of internet system. Again, I'm not techie, so forgive my verbiage here. And really trying to ramp up our direct website, and better tie together our Google profile, our website, and our YouTube channel to kind of create this really cohesive, strong SEO platform that we are soon, hopefully, to be the top ranked and most forefront in any of those categories. So I think that's really exciting, and having the background of all of the media kind of in place and continuing adding more as we go. We post one new video every single week on our YouTube channel, and then of course create smaller videos for the other platforms out of that. But I think that's going to be something really cool, and improving that SEO, getting more eyes on your business and potential people reaching out. I mean, that's the name of the game right there.
Absolutely. And I want to just quickly say YouTube is still there. I would definitely say YouTube is definitely going to help you with your SEO and helping you overall be found. So I would definitely 100% recommend it too. And it does kind of tie into this whole AI social media. Absolutely. What about you, Aaron? What about for you with 2026 and this tech?
So yeah, I try to hire good people that are good at what they do. I'm not a big social media person. However, I do have a lot of people that help me with all my social media and AI. And so I've always been that kind of a person that, everybody on my team does what they do better than I do. And so even though we look very techie, it's not me personally. I just put good people in place that constantly put us out there and make everybody aware that we're in real estate. I'm even talking right now. I'm talking to my chat GBT Pro on some ideas that Scott gave and that he's doing. And that's what I love about these the most is, man, I get some of my best ideas that I ever got in my business is being on these panels, listening to you professionals talking about what you do and me writing them down. And that's what's wonderful about EXP is we're all willing to share and help each other. But yeah, I just hire smarter people than me, which, as you can tell, that's probably not very difficult to do. And that's what helps me in my business.
Now, let me just circle back to Scott for a second here. Let's talk about, you sound pretty like a grounded guy, to be entirely honest. And even though you're in the air, which is kind of funny to say, but I want to quickly say, how do you keep, we all have ego in some way, and it kind of blocks us in our business. So how do you try to remind yourself to stay grounded and to keep that ego in check?
Well, I think going off of what Morgan's been talking about, systems and tools, you set yourself up for success through the systems, through the tools, through the assistant, through the structure that you put in place. And if you build that foundation and you stay grounded in that foundation, then, things will build. And as things build, you will find success. And when you start anything new in real estate, you need 90 days to get your pipeline going and to get everything in place. But those systems, if you get a hold of somebody like Morgan, who is obviously a very excellent team lead, you get somebody like that, then you can implement those systems, and you can find success. And I think, like I was talking about earlier, um, you're able to go to bed at night because you know your numbers, you know your data points, you know what's going on. You know that you've reached out to every client that you had. You know you had your 10 conversations, like you were mentioning, Victoria. You know you've done what you needed to do for that day for success, and that is what keeps you grounded as long as you implement and stick with it.
Absolutely. I'm just going to quickly add, and then I'll just pass the baton along. But I just want to quickly add, like, sometimes if you fail, like say I didn't have 10 conversations today and I had 6 or 5, but I also did 3 other things, having a little bit of grace and keeping your, like, I did these things, and kind of forgiving yourself for not hitting all of your goals is also really important, because because sometimes we're our own worst enemy. So I want to say, if you're your own worst enemy, you kind of have to give yourself a little, because I know I can be my own worst enemy. So I'm just know that by giving myself grace and saying, hey, not everybody is you can't be perfect every single day, but you can, do your best every single day, and you did your best, and then just moving on to the next day and saying, we're going to start over again, is kind of a really important way of keeping the ego in check. But the ego also kind of, I think, comes on the other side of it is, oh, you didn't do enough. And I feel like that's still ego. So I feel like if I can fight that too, that's also a really important thing to kind of add as well. So what about you, Aaron? How do you kind of keep that ego in, like, our egos in our head and our deals going when we get ourselves in our way?
Well, a lot of it with me was just experience. What I experienced in the housing crash really helped me going forward. Thinking that I was better than I was, and really having that, just losing everything and finding a new way of what's important in my life and what's important to my clients has helped me. And like you said, forgiving yourself and not being the best at what you can be all the time, but giving it your best shot. Like even right now, I've had the flu, like terribly sick for the last 2 days. Can't even get out of bed. Was going to cancel this morning because the last thing I wanted to do was talk to anybody, because I felt in my heart that I wouldn't come across the way I wanted to. I said, hell with it. I got up, I showered, I sat here, and I'm giving it my best. Even though it's not 100%, it's just moving forward and doing everything I can. And understanding that whether I'm selling a mobile home or a $5 million place, people are people, and everybody gets dressed the same way and eats the same, and just really putting what's best for the client in front of our goals is what keeps us grounded and keeps us moving along.
Yeah. Morgan, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. Great responses. I think this career is naturally very humbling. That if you start getting, on a roll and you're feeling really good, not to be a negative Nancy, but just the God honest truth is this career will humble you at times, and there's going to be challenging days, and sorry to hear that you're not feeling well, and the flu will get you, and then you're down and you're kind of barely able to keep up. I think kind of knowing that, becoming I guess I can now say I'm a more seasoned agent, which I still feel new. I've been in this for almost, going into 10 years or so, and I still feel new because there's always learning curves, and there's so much to absorb in the new tools as well as the shifting market. So give yourself a little grace with that for sure. And when it comes to tracking and systems that I've mentioned quite a bit, we all have mentioned quite a bit. I like to take like a weekly average approach, because there's going to be days that maybe I'm not feeling well, or maybe I am outbound face-to-face all day at inspections or client-facing appointments. And so I do just about zero actual lead gen for future business. That's okay. That's naturally going to happen. Or God forbid, you just want to spend a day with your family. Look at the kind of weekly average. That's how we handle our team. That if you hit the goal of the week, it's okay that it's not perfect on a day-to-day basis. You're still meeting the right kind of stretch points, if you will. And I think that's kind of helped give a little bit of peace of mind when those hiccups or more challenging timeframes come in.
Amazing. And since we're almost out of time, I'm just going to ask really quickly, really, I'm a big audiobook learner. Whenever in my car, and we're in our cars a lot, I'm always listening to audiobooks, and I love like development. So I just want to quickly ask everybody like their favorite book or two that, you know, they would be able to say, this really helped me with my business. So I want to start with you, Morgan?
That's a really good question. I've actually been kind of light on my audiobooks lately. I feel like I've been on the phone in the car a lot lately, which is getting into my audio time. I do a lot. I love the self-help books and things like that. They can be good, but I like the more tactical books. Like I love actually learning. Like lately I've been kind of re-immersing myself into, there's a ton of books out there. If you're thinking about doing video and you're thinking about, should I start a YouTube channel? Go on Audible. You can download like 5 different books and burn right through them of different approaches to building a successful YouTube channel. So I'm kind of revisiting some of those right now. And that's kind of a good example of like the more practical, like put into action books, not just kind of like mindset alone, which don't get me wrong, those are great as well.
I mean, yeah, that's amazing. So good. So what about you, Erin? Any like books or things that you really would love everybody to know that that's a great thing to really listen to or take in?
Yeah, without a doubt, I read my Bible every single day. It helps me with my business, my personal life. It's just who I am and what I do every single day. And then constantly, at least 2 or 3 times a year, we read The Secret, we listen to it, we watch the video. I love Think and Grow Rich as well, but pretty basic stuff, you know, nothing too crazy. I don't try to go beyond that. I probably should, but that's just where I stay.
What about you?
Sorry, Victoria, did you?
Yes, I did. I called the new Scott.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to echo, you know, the Bible right there, 100% for sure. I'll tell you, you want to get yourself grounded. That's a great place to start. John Maxwell, good leaders ask great questions. And then there was a book last year at the Cabo event that a guy, Russell Inyard, gave me in the group that was called Go Pro, and it's 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. And it's by Eric Warr, and it is fabulous. I mean, it's you know, maybe a 2 to 3 hour read. It's pretty quick, and man, it's just packed full. But I'll tell you what duped me into real estate is good old Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Dad Poor Dad. What a phenomenal story, and just yeah, pretty powerful for me, especially at that point in my life.
And that's so funny. You're the second. My husband just finished reading GoPro, actually, to be entirely honest. He's read it now twice. He told me I need to listen to it. And so it is definitely on my list of guns. It's on my audio already. And so that's you mentioned exactly what he just told me to read.
Yeah, it's good.
Right. I want to also put in point, like, there's a couple other good ones. Like there was like something called The Miracle Morning that was good. Think and Grow Rich. I love that book. Like I'm listening to my audiobooks a lot in my car. The lady who wrote The Secret also wrote something called Power, and that one was pretty good too. And there's one I'm trying to think of that was really, really insightful to me. And I can't remember the name of it. I'm going to remember it when we finish this thing, which is going to kill me. Hold on one second. What was the name of that book? Was it No, I'll think of it later. I can't remember. But Think and Grow Rich was a great one. There was, yeah. So I love this. So does anybody else have any questions, or are we kind of, I think, done? Anybody else want to add last words?
Just have an amazing day, everybody.
Yeah, and thanks so much for doing this, Victoria. Quite the honor to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for being on the panel.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Always happy to connect personally as well. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, and I'm going to put my email in the comments real quick. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Victoria, for moderating, and Morgan, Erin, and Scott. Everybody in the audience, thank you so much for sticking around. If you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button. If you are an icon in an active icon benefit year here in the world. In the audience, you will receive 2 points just for attending. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, you guys.